everyone, welcome to another video. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Reet, and on my channel I share my crochet adventures. I started crocheting a little bit over a year ago, and if you want to see some of the things that I made, you can check that in my big pile of sweaters video. And I'm also currently doing a crochet along, which will start this week. The first video is all ready to go. We're starting very slow, so you can, ease yourself into the pattern, and we're just going to be doing the cuffs on our sweaters. So very nice and easy. And I don't know, I think I'll probably upload a video every week because that's like a good pace. And you can also purchase the pattern if you want like a written, reference that you can print out. I will leave the links to everything below. I also have now an Etsy shop, so if you have like their gift cards, or if you prefer to use that platform, you can also do that. You can also buy the pattern on my website, and once you buy it, you get the pattern and you also get access to a classroom where I have videos for every section, and I will be showing everything here on my channel as well, so you absolutely don't have to buy the pattern, but if you want to, then first of all, thank you, and you can find all the details below. So the first thing I want to share is this finished object that I'm wearing, which I really love, and I'll show you the yarn, Ferris wheel. And this is, the colorway is Pink Marmalade. And I have to say, I wasn't sure about it, but it actually kind of works for the purpose that I wanted it to serve. And I do like the colors. I think they'd probably be really great for an autumn look, which, yeah, more than like spring or winter. I don't know, in my mind, I guess all these like rich, how do you say, like rustic colors fit more for autumn, but I cannot tell you that I dress according to, color palettes of the seasons, although that does sound like something I should consider doing. But anyway, this is 100% acrylic yarn, but it is really nice to work with, and I think it has that kind of like a roving look. I don't know, yeah, let's see if the camera wants to focus. So it really, are you in focus? I hope so. And it has like a little bit of a halo, so I really feel that it kind of looks like a wool blend. Like it has a little bit of wool in it, but it doesn't. It's very affordable, especially if you're in the US. Probably if you're not in the US, it's not very affordable, but yeah, and Lion Brand has all kinds of, sales and whatever. So I really liked it. I really enjoyed working with it, and I have to say it's quite warm. The disadvantage of like acrylic yarns or like these completely synthetic yarns is that they don't really breathe. But the fabric that you get when you use the stitch that I'm using for this it's quite light compared to usual kind of closed or tight crochet fabrics, and I feel like it keeps me warm but not like sweaty. But I don't know, I don't tend to like suffer from heat unless it's like really hot, but I'm not like sensitive to it, so I don't like being cold, and I really like it. So to me, anytime I can find a vegan friendly, affordable yarn that works for winter and has that, kind of woolly look to it, I'm really happy. So this is what I have left. I used 2 complete skeins and then these 2. So I would say I'm pretty sure I have here more than 1 skein. So I made this wraparound top with 3 skeins, which I also think is, really great because it means that it is a very, very budget-friendly item. So the idea of this top was to wear it on top of either like a tunic or maybe like a summer dress, so that you can also wear it in the winter or the, I don't know, changing seasons, the in-between, the autumns and the springs. And yeah, I'm really, really happy. The fit is great, which is not surprising because I used my half and half sweater. So I'll probably write this down also. It's incredibly simple. It's basically the same pattern like the half and half sweater. So once you understand that pattern, you don't need a specific pattern for this garment, but I will do my best to write it down just for people who are more interested in this shape. Basically, you work exactly the same every part, but in the front, except you know, just kind of stopping with the decreases and connecting the two halves like we do in the back. You just keep going, keep decreasing until you're done. And then I did for the cord. Thank you to all the suggestions. I was just like, I think I got some really great suggestions after I already started what I decided to do, which someone suggested, so thank you. I'm sorry I can't remember your name, but I just did a chain and then I went back and did slip stitches, and it gave me kind of a more substantial cord type thing to work with that is still thin enough so it looks, you know, not like really thick. And yeah, that's what I used. I probably should have done it longer because I can only tie it behind my back, which I would prefer to tie it in the front, just because, you know, if you're leaning on something, then sometimes it's a bit, it can be a bit disturbing. But all in all, I'm super happy with this. What I feel like doing is using like a more fluffy yarn. I have a bunch of Pluma from Katja. I think that would be really, really lovely and create, I don't know, in my head it's kind of like this ballet dancer kind of wraparound thing. And so really, really light. Maybe use like a larger hook so that the stitches are a bit more open and you can see a little bit what you're wearing underneath. And maybe I'll do it like a little bit longer so that the cord is just at the waist and not at the very, and then the sweater continues, so it's not at the bottom of the sweater. Hopefully that makes sense, but I think I'll do another version because I really, really like it. And I just think I love the layered look, and I think it makes it very easy and effortless. I also really like the little scallop edge that I added here and at the bottom of the sweater. I will definitely add that to the original pattern. It's just, instead of doing the ribbing, you just do another row of this. So it's super, super easy to use that, and I have done that also on the one of the versions of my half and half sweater. So I really like the look, and I think it's a great variation if you want something a little bit more detailed, a little bit more feminine, and not just the ribbing. Speaking of ribbing, so this one is done. These are the two versions that I was working on for the cowl, and we haven't started the cowl, and I'm almost done with them, which makes me very happy because I do feel like the sweater comes together faster than other sweaters. So I don't know if it's because I'm biased or because I'm really familiar already with the pattern, or if there is some sort of like magic working here, that I feel like if you start from the sleeve, it's just like somehow it makes it faster. So I'm pretty much done. All I need to do on this one is add the edging at the top, which I want to film because I didn't film the ribbing at the bottom, just because I'm always working on it, and you know, I was working on it on the weekend and the evenings, and it's just not really time that I can film because I have kids and they always wish for things. But I'll show you how it's looking. So this is the ribbed look. I made it kind of fitted. I don't know, these are acrylic yarn, so you can't really like stretch them, but I think if you're using any kind of like natural fiber, it would look amazing if you also like block it to the sizes that you want it to be. But most of my sweaters are with acrylic yarn, and I think they look and fit really, really well. So it's absolutely not a must. And I've already also, thank you to my lovely testers, which also sent me photos of their finished sweaters. I'm so happy that people are enjoying this pattern and, you know, making sweaters that they love and look great on them. So happy about that. But yeah, all I need to do to finish this is to add the ribbing at the top. I think I will do just like a shorter, not as long as I did for the sleeves and the bottom. I think so. I don't think I want it to be like so thick like it is here. This is cookie yarn, and I don't have here how much I have left. Well, I still have to do the ribbing, but I have quite a bit, like more than half a skein, I'm sure of it, and that was my second skein. So I really feel like, even though, you know, crochet takes up a lot of yarn, I feel like you don't need a ton to make these, and they're not heavy. Well, the cookie yarn is also a really nice, it's also like a 100% acrylic yarn, but it's not like tightly wound, and I mean, this is like, it's completely closed, the stitch, but this is not heavy. So I'm guessing I have here around 300 grams of yarn, which, I mean, that's great. I have sweaters that are much, much heavier. So very happy with this one. I think it's going to look so nice with jeans. So really looking forward to finishing it and then trying it on, taking some pictures for you and everything. And that is kind of it with my Cal projects. What I want to do next is I want to do another sweater, but I have like, okay, let's put things out in the universe, right? And I cannot guarantee that all of this will come to fruition, but that's what I want to do, and that's what I'm going to try to do. And till now I have only published one pattern, so I'm sure that I need more time to do all these things that I want than an experienced designer. But you know, you have to dream big, and that's what I'm doing. So what I would love to do is kind of design a spring collection of about 4 or 5 garments, and I have already like concepts for what I want each piece to do. And yeah, and I kind of want one of those pieces to be a more like floofy sweater. So I showed you in a previous video this beautiful yarn from Lang Yarns. This is called Sakura, and it's a blend. It's half cotton and half synthetic, and it's really, really lovely, and I really want to make a sweater from it. And I think I have an idea that will also work well basing it on the half and half sweater, just because I think that construction has so much potential to become many, many things. Now, I do love how knitted fabrics look, and I tried to do the waistcoat stitch with this using kind of a large hook. It's very, very thick. Even if I use kind of a large hook, if I want it to look not completely open, I think it's a bit too thick for my personal preference, but I don't want to knit, I want to crochet with it. So just showing you, this is the result of, this is how like I swatch and try things. And I have tried, I don't know how many stitches using this yarn. I'm using this book, which I love. This is Crochet Everyway Stitch Dictionary. I really, really love this book, and there are a lot of, okay, by Dora Ohernstein. There are a lot of like stitch dictionaries out there, and I have another one that I recently bought that I really like. But what is fantastic about this book is that it shows you exactly how to do increases and decreases with like edge shaping and internal shaping, which is, and then you have the swatches, and it's so helpful because unless you're doing an absolute straight stitch, a lot of these stitch dictionaries don't have that information, and then I don't know, you kind of have to figure things out by yourself, which takes a lot of time. Believe me, I've tried. So I'm trying all kinds of different stitches, and these were like my knitting samples. So I just continue to do them on the same. So here I did the same stitch that I'm using for the half and half sweater. I just want to look at the label here. So they recommend, so they only have like knitting information, it seems to me, and they recommend a 7 to 8 knitting needle. Now I actually did do a swatch, and I think 7 would work for me if I wanted to knit this. But for the crochet, I tried my stitch with a number 8 hook, an 8mm hook, and it's a bit too open for what I prefer. So I think I may need to go down a hook size, but I also really want to do something with like ruffles, which is kind of tricky when you're using a more chunky yarn. But I don't know, I haven't given up on that idea just yet. I really love this yarn. It's really lovely, and actually what I envision for my kind of spring collection would be, they have another color that is kind of a lavender color. That thing is giving me the feels. So I don't know, maybe I'll do like some practice run or do a sweater with, I have sweater quantities of this color, which is also lovely, and I also feel would work great for spring. You know, if you want to, like, you shouldn't follow trends or colors of the seasons, you should just do what you like. But I do have this kind of image in my head of what I see as like a spring collection, which is a great opportunity for kind of bright colors, because that's what I see here in spring. You know, the greens are like super green, and then I envision for summer to have a more like warm, washed out rainbow. It's always a lot of color. But yeah, so it's just like a lot of experimenting until I find a stitch that I love, and then, you know, a shape of the sweater that I like. And I feel because I'm so particular about color, I probably should, you know, find yarns that I like, and then like find a design that works for those yarns, for their qualities and their colorways, instead of the other way around. Because I fear like if I get too attached to, you know, a color I picked on my Photoshop or Procreate program, or even watercolor palette where I can mix everything, it may lead to just disappointment because I won't be able to find these yarns at the shop. Especially since I would like, another thing that I would like this spring collection to have is mostly natural plant-based fibers. So I love these kind of floofy, cottony yarns. Most of them have some acrylic in them, which also makes them cheaper. So I also want this to be like inclusive, not just like size-wise, but also budget-wise. But I also feel like I have to use like things that make me super excited, and not always put that, you know, available for everyone at the top of my list. Yeah, so I'm just like experimenting. So this is my little ruffle that I put on top of this, because I really want something that has like these kind of ruffles here. I love that look, and with the construction of the half and half sweater, it would be super easy just to, you know, add on the ruffle, and again, you will know exactly where to put it because basically your sweater is ready and you just need to add it on. So really excited about all these things. I'll show you something else that I was playing around. If you remember, in a previous video I showed you a haul of like different white and natural yarns, like natural color and bleached, and I was talking about wanting to add the color myself. So we had we had a very windy Sunday yesterday, and then the power went out, and I thought, hey, that's a great opportunity to do something creative with the kids. So I brought out this bunch of white and like natural colored yarns, and we played around and added color. So I used just what I had on hand, which are some sprays from, I think, a German brand that I can find here in my local craft store. I don't dye my own yarn, and I actually do want to take, there's a course on Domestika which is currently on sale for I think 12 euros, and I can get it for I think 20% off if I rate another course, and I've taken many of their courses, so I could probably get it for like around 10 euros about dyeing yarns. I'm not the kind of person who's going to go foraging in the lakes and forests, but maybe I can pick up a few tips on using, you know, like vegetables or spices or something like this, something that I can easily get. I know you can use like onion skins, and I know you can use avocado pits, and I do love my avocados. So I might do that because yeah, I think it's a wonderful idea. So with the sprays, I have used them on a few t-shirts in the past. The annoying thing about them is that right after you use them, the fabric is very stiff, and it does soften up when you wash it. But yeah, so the next step, so my girls sprayed these with all kinds of colors, and the next step is I need to wash them to see, first of all, if the color stays, and also if it softens the yarn, because I don't want to wear anything that is like stiff. That doesn't sound appealing at all. Yeah, so I don't want to have to start like investing and, you know, setting up a whole coloring laboratory here. That's just not gonna work. I'm already overwhelmed with all the things that I have when it comes to my crochet and my painting and all these things. But if I can make, you know, a few simple colors that keep the fabric soft or keep the yarn soft and play around with that, I would like to do that. So I don't know if you have any tips, if you think you can point me in a direction that might help me. I would appreciate any advice. I love the colors that we have here, and I love the whole process. Like, my idea would be to kind of make a sweater and then play around with the coloring when it's already done, actually. But I have other ideas for also like how to kind of prep the yarn before we start making a sweater. But I don't know, I always find it like, I find it easier to kind of picture something when it's kind of done. And I feel like I would enjoy like making a white sweater, focus on, you know, the fit and the stitch and all that. And then once it's done, kind of think of how I would add some color to it. That to me seems very exciting. And it also means that you only need, you know, one color of yarn. You don't have to start buying a million different colors and trying to figure out and doing color work and all those things. So there, like, one is my artistic vision here, and the other one is the laziness. And those are the principles that lead me in my path. So I think I just have to put these in the washing machine and see what happens. I'll probably put them like inside a little bag or something and see if it's going to be a disaster. If they all come out just like brown or something like that, I'm going to have to rethink everything. But yeah, it's just a little bit of yarn. There's like no way I can do this without possibly wasting something. And I do like my scrap blanket. It's like my favorite blanket from all the blankets that I've made. So I'm not too worried about having different scraps. Yeah, so I think that is everything that's going on right now. Yeah, I do want to add like a separate pattern for the wraparound, and I do think I should also do one for the rainbow sweater. I've gotten all kinds of questions about the effect. So I learned this technique of, you know, this kind of color transition type situation. I learned it from the Knit Edit, and I highly recommend to go there and just see how she does the colorway, because she does knitted garments, but you can just do the same thing in crochet, which is what I did. So yeah, it's like such a beautiful effect, and you can really control, you know, the colors that you choose, because this is all solid colors. There is no color changing yarn in here. And yeah, I think it's a really, really cool technique. So you can check that out on her Instagram, social media, the Knit Edit. And I do want to make like a pattern for this because it has all kinds of changes. You know, I talked about it in a different video, but like the ribbing is just made with 1 strand, and then this is made with 3, and then the body is made with 2, and again the ribbing with 1. But I think it's a great use of DK yarn, which is super popular, very affordable if you are, you know, on a budget and you like to do color work. So DK is a great option because you can do so much with it, and you won't be, you know, limited. You can do summer clothes in the summer with it, and then use a double strand or a triple strand for winter clothes. So I do want to write a pattern for this. I only need 3 assistants, someone to take care of my kids, and a few more hands to be able to crochet and think and write about all these things. But I'm excited. It's all like fun stuff. As for yarn, I am waiting for an order from Fil d'Art from France. Haven't received any shipping notification. I placed it last week, so I don't know at what kind of pace they work there, but the yarns I ordered, most of them I haven't been able to find in the places where I usually shop, even though they all carry Fil d'Art, but I guess not the full range. So yeah, looking forward to that. There's another yarn there that I think would be wonderful for a spring sweater, and I really want to get my hands on it and start working, and not just, you know, having concepts and ideas, because that is great, but it's the making those ideas a reality that is the challenging part, and I would just like to get things going. So that is it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you're ready for the KAL. Part 1 is coming this week, maybe even tomorrow. I'll try to post this on a Monday. I'm recording it on Monday. I'll try to post it today, and then have the cuffs video for you tomorrow. So get your yarn ready, your hooks. Please go to my previous videos. If you want to participate in the KAL, I highly recommend to do the swatch. I have a video for that showing you exactly how to do that, just so you are familiar with the stitch and you know how your yarn behaves and which hook you should use. I really feel that kind of the more independent you get with your decision making, the easier you will find it to make other sweaters by other designers and, you know, other patterns, or come up with your own in the future. And yeah, this is like a good thing to, you know, figure out things by yourself and see what works for you. That was a lot of talking. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in another video very soon. Take care. Bye bye.